You Make the Difference. I'm Wanda Walker, and today I'm talking to Sheriff James Woodruff. He's the Sheriff of Troup County. We're so glad to have you, Sheriff.
Glad to be here.
Yes.
Happy to be here. Been looking forward to this for weeks.
Yes. And I want you to tell the community what you are trying to accomplish in the community through the Sheriff's Department. I can tell that you've got a mission and a vision, and I just want you to release that today.
Well, when I ran, I told the people that I really wanted to make Troup County the very best place to live, to work, and to raise their family. And that is my mission. And I'm going about that in different ways. One, we were able to work with the school system and put the junior deputy program back in the 3rd grade, where it teaches kids to listen to their teachers, being safe at home, listening to their parents, bicycle safety, and saying no to drugs and bullying. You know, when I ran, I talked about our young people and how our young people are the ones we've got to reach out to and try to prevent them from going down the wrong road. I want to start the Explore program back up. That was very popular in years past and how we reached our young people. And so I want to work with our jail ministries.
Yes.
Because when people are incarcerated, I think it's our job to try to help them transform their lives and get back into society and be productive members and not just lock them up and throw away the key and say there's no hope for them anymore.
Yes. And one thing that I've noticed about your role as the sheriff is that you are so community minded and involved in every community event that you can possibly
Absolutely.
be involved in.
Yeah.
And you know, I know you have a big job in managing the sheriff's department. I mean, and all those deputies that are patrolling and those kinds of things, but you find the time to be out in the community and to support community events. And I just want to say I appreciate that about you.
Well, thank you. And I tell you what, when I took office, people told me, they said, surround yourself with people that you trust, that can run the agency with you and help you. One thing I always say, these men and women, I work with them. They don't work for me, they work with me because we are all one team. I'm a servant to the people of Troup County as well as every man and woman that I work with, and I believe that is my role. And I do try to get out in the community, and I try to go to a lot of events. I try to be accessible to the people. If somebody calls me, I try my very best to call them back that day. Sometimes I'll go home and like last night, it's 8:30 before I made it home.
Yes.
And sometimes I'll make phone calls as late as 8:30 and say, I'm sorry I'm just now calling you back, but I've had a busy day. I've been on the road a lot. I've been in meetings, but I wanted to reach out to you. But I believe it's important to be accessible. I believe it's important to give back to the community, to be involved in the community. And we do have a big job running the sheriff's office. It's a lot that goes on in the jail, as you well know, but then we've got court, we've got patrol, we've got investigations, we've got our narcotics unit, we've got our transport unit, we've got our civil division, we've got our juvenile court. So it's a lot of different areas that we have to oversee. But one thing, I'm not intimidated by the supervisors that surround me. I don't feel like I have to know more than they do or have my finger on everything because I trust them and we work well together as a team.
Yes, and I also have noticed that the LaGrange Police Department and the Troup County Sheriff's Department work together very well. And you know, that's so important for maintaining the county and the city in a peaceful way, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
And you know, that was another thing when I ran, is I said, I want to build those bridges back where we have communication. Chief Brian Harr in Hogansville, Chief Tony Bailey in West Point, Lou Dakemar in LaGrange, and myself, every month have lunch together somewhere, sometimes in Hogansville. Yesterday, the lunch in West Point I told you about was our chief's meeting, and we invited the DA, Pete Scandalakis, to join us, and Maurice Raines, the post commander for the State Patrol, and we sit around and we talk about individual problems that we're having, individual crimes that we're having, and sometimes they're similar in nature. We share information, we exchange ideas, and we just have a great relationship where we work together, and all of us working together makes the job of fighting crime that much easier in Troup County, because we're all fighting for the same cause,
Yes.
to make this the best place.
Yes. I was coming up the street in my car one day, and I saw you and Chief Detmar and a couple of other law enforcement people going to lunch together, and I thought, that is such a beautiful picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was when we were going to lunch on the square.
Yes.
And the chiefs and I had met, and we do that every month. I mean, faithfully, we meet because we believe we have to work together. And nobody's trying to outdo the other one. We all know that we play a part of a team.
Right.
And if we all play together and work together, we can get so much more accomplished.
It'd be so much more effective.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to talk about some of the things that you've started since you've been in office. And I know you've started the Citizens Firearm class.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that. Why you started that and how it went. And
we are so proud, and I'm so proud that we were able to offer this. A lot of times, Wanda, women live alone.
yes.
Sometimes they're widows. I've had women to come up and tell me, my husband bought me this pistol, and I'm so afraid of it.
Yes.
I've never shot it. I don't touch it. If somebody was breaking in on me, I wouldn't even pick it up. And so we put together this Citizens Firearms training class, and we usually have one a month, and it's usually in the warmer months when it's not cold or bad weather. And it's at our firearms training facility down on Hamilton Road, and you sign up and it's free.
Yes.
And we say, Wanda, if you've got a pistol, bring it, because that's the one you're going to be shooting is your pistol. But if you say, you know what, Sheriff, I don't have a pistol, but I'd like to get one, but I don't know what I want, then we'll bring several different guns and let you shoot each one and see which one you like the best. But we get there and we have a little class, and we first talk about the gun carry permit.
Yes.
Where do you get that? How much is it? Where can you carry your gun without having a permit? Where can you carry your gun if you have a permit? And where can you not carry your gun even if you've got a permit? So we answer all those questions. We talk about gun safety, and then we take you out on the range. And I'm so thankful that the people that I work with give up their Saturday mornings to come out there and coach every person that's shooting. We shoot 5 at a time.
Yes.
Everyone has their own individual coach to help them, and you would be surprised how well women do that have never shot a gun.
Yes.
And how surprised they are that they're not as afraid of the gun, and they leave there confident and empowered. And if somebody tries to break in on them, they're not afraid to defend themselves. And I think that's a wonderful thing.
Yes, and it is very important that you know how to use a gun and that you feel comfortable with it. I know early on when they were recommending that women carry mace, well, I got some mace, and I had small children. Well, I had it in my pocketbook. They ended up spraying it on their face. And and that happened more than once.
Really? Oh,
and so, I thought, oh my goodness, I don't need to carry mace, and I certainly don't need to carry a gun. But you have to know the safety and
Sure.
how to shoot and
Right.
where to keep it.
Exactly.
And so you're not careless with it and accidents happen. So it's very important to get the training that you need.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I have some funny stories about the mace.
And
but-
if I can say, if anybody out there would like more information about this, if you'll call me or call Stuart Smith, he's my public information
Yes.
officer at the Sheriff's Office, 883-1616. We'll be glad to talk to you about it, get you on the standby list for the next class, and let you come. You'll be surprised at how well you can really shoot and how confident you become just after one class.
Yes, and I have shot a gun, and I was surprised at how well I could do. And so, sometimes it's kind of natural, right?
It is natural.
Yeah. All right. So I know that you have put a lot of emphasis on the youth. And you have done the Sheriff's Academy for Youth. Tell me about that.
Sheriff's Academy for Youth is a 2-week program in the summer where the kids go out to the parks and recreation and they sign up. And every year, once we open enrollment, within just a few days, the classes are full.
Yes.
And a lot of times it's kids that want to come back again because they had so much fun last year. But again, it's for kids. The first week is for 9 and 10-year-olds. The second week is for 11 and 12-year-olds. And Monday through Friday, you bring your child to the sheriff's office. And for half the day, we do instruction. It might be one of our investigators comes in and shows them how to lift a fingerprint, or how to dust for fingerprints, or it might be a patrol officer telling them what their day's like, or it might be a canine demonstration. But half the morning is instruction. They're learning something about what we do. The other half of the day is fun. They go to the Water Whiz, they go to the movies, they go skating. So it shows them our job, but then it gives us a positive interaction with them, that we really are nice people, that we really are not just out here to put people in jail. We want to be your friend. If a young person needs somebody to talk to, we want them to know they can turn to us and confide in us and tell us what's on their mind and what's upsetting them or what's hurting them. Same thing if I could spin off that into our school resource officers. I'm so thankful. I was committed to putting those school resource officers back in the middle schools, and thanks to the help of the Board of Education for allowing that to happen. And we got those guys back into the middle schools. And it's not just to have them there for when bad things happen. I want those school resource officers to be mentors to these young people, to go in there and encourage them and say, you can do good on your test today, and I saw you play football last night, because they go to the football games, and how's it going with, you know, your project that you're working on? And I want that positive interaction. Now, we're there when bad things happen too. But I want it to be more positive than negative.
Because a lot of people are missing that positive male role model in their life, aren't they?
Unfortunately, yes.
And that makes a tremendous impact on a child when the father figure is missing.
Absolutely.
And I know you probably see that in the jail, don't you?
I do.
And so a lot of the people who are there have missing male role models in their life.
Exactly. And I talk to parents or mothers a lot of times. They'll come and see me about their son. And usually it's their son, you know, that's in jail when the father figure's not there. And these boys do look up to their dads. And when there is no father, they're going to look up to somebody. And sometimes they choose the wrong people to model themselves after. And they make some bad decisions and they end up in jail. But you know, there's one thing, Wanda, I tell every parent. When they come and sit down across from me, they're heartbroken. Some are angry at the decisions their child has made. Some are embarrassed. But you know what? We all have done things that we would be embarrassed about if people knew. And I say, don't be embarrassed, because we're all human. We all make mistakes. But I encourage the parents, never give up on your child. Never give up. Never stop praying for your child. Never stop believing that they can turn their life around. I've seen success stories. I've seen kids that have come through that jail and had to take whatever punishment was coming to them and turn their life around. Some are repeat offenders, yes. Some do come to me and say, I promise you, I'll never come back to jail again. And they do. But you know what? I have found through my years, there's been many times I've promised the Lord I wouldn't do something again, and did the very thing I promised I wouldn't do. And so it gives me great compassion for people. Now, I don't want people to say, oh, he's too easy on them down there, because I tell the parents, jail should be a place, if you come to, when you finally get out, you ought to walk out of that front door and say, by the grace of God, I will never come back here again. If you get out of jail and you say, well, that wasn't too bad, that's almost like vacation, I have failed you miserably, and I haven't done my job, because it shouldn't be a place that you just love to come to. But it should be a place, and it is a place where we treat you like somebody, where we respect you as a human being, and we want what's best for you. I don't want 400 people in jail. I wish I only had 5 people in jail.
And maybe not 5.
Exactly. You know, I don't want next year we got to have 600 in jail, and the next year 800 in jail. I don't want to see that. I want these people to get their lives turned around. Now, unfortunately, some never will. We got to be real. Some have committed such heinous crimes, they'll never get out again. And I understand that, and they're where they need to be. But there's some that have just made some mistakes, that they're good people. I have people come to see me and say, boy, my dad he's a good man. He just made it. And I agree with that. It was a mistake.
Yeah.
And let's get through this. Let's work through it. And let's get it behind us. And let me tell you this. You and the people that come down there and do those jail ministries impact people so much. And you don't know how much. And you may never know until one day when you get to heaven and somebody says, it was me that you rescued at the jail. So
Yeah.
y'all play a big role in this.
Yeah, we love to come, and we have people who come for the men's side and for the women's side. And I know you have church for the women on
Yes.
Mondays and Tuesdays and Sundays. And,
Right.
and I know for the men it's at least on Sundays.
Right.
And so, yes, and when we do see people later around town who have gotten out of jail, and I'll see them and they'll say, I'm still doing good.
Yes, and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And that makes you feel good.
It does.
That, your work is not in vain.
That's
that you're
right.
not going and they're just right back in there again.
Yeah.
Because, I think a lot of them really want to do good, but they get caught up in bad situations
Yes.
and make bad choices,
Yeah.
and then they end up back in jail. But we could not do what we do without the faith community. So many times I attend meetings and it's about various topics. It's about our youth, it's about domestic violence, it's about the gang problems in our county and in our cities. And we say we have got to have the help of the
Yes.
faith community.
Yes.
The preachers, the churches have to step up and say, we are going to join hands with our communities and we're going to take these communities back. We can't do it by ourselves.
Yes.
There's no way law enforcement can solve all these problems by ourselves. And I'll tell you, there's one thing that I'm committed to. If a pastor calls me, there are certain days for visitation and certain times. If any pastor, and I say this to every pastor that's watching, or preacher, or minister, if they call me one day and say, there's a young man or a young lady down there that mom or dad wants me to come talk to or pray with or just minister to, and I don't know if I can come, you call me, we'll get you in down there.
That's right.
You take top priority, we get you in, we let you talk to that young person, because that might be what it takes
Yes.
to turn that person's life around. And so anytime a preacher calls me, I say, when can you come?
That's right, because
And-
people are open then, aren't they?
Absolutely.
And I love what you just said, because I think it's important that the churches know that you need them.
Absolutely.
And I hear that in all the community meetings that I go to. It's like, how can we get the church more involved in what we're doing? Whether it's the Darkness to Light training,
Absolutely.
where we're trying to train church staff members about the dangers of children being sexually molested and those kinds of things. It's like, how do we get into the church to be
Right.
able to provide this training? Or say families, they really want church families to step up and be like foster parents, but it's the church serving as foster parents. And so everywhere I go.
The Homeless Coalition.
Yes, the Homeless Coalition.
And getting churches involved. Church is, in any town, it is my belief that the town is only as strong as the churches and the faith-based community.
Right.
And we've got some great churches here.
Yes.
I know a lot of pastors. I'm privileged to be friends with so many pastors, and I know they're great men of God, and they do a tremendous job. And that's what we got to have.
Yes.
And we got to have those men to stand up and say, you know what, we're going to join hands. And many have.
Yes.
But we need all of them to join hands
We
and
do.
partner with us. And we can really make a difference in what's going on.
Yes. And it's not only the pastors, it's the people in the church.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The congregation, the members.
Yeah.
I've lost what it was called, but there was a group, and I think you were part of it, that took different sections of town and different communities and would
Yes.
go and walk through those communities or neighborhoods and pray
Yes.
for them. And see, that's the members of the church that are that important, that are the boots on the ground.
That's right.
That are out doing things to try to make a positive change
Yes.
in our community.
Because the pastors have helped equip us, and the pastors can't do everything.
That's exactly right.
But the people in the congregation, there are many of us.
Right.
And yes, there are many efforts for us to come together. Kendall Butler is leading a group.
Yes.
And Chief Dekmar is leading a group with really the same vision of putting people out in communities that really need encouragement and help.
Right.
And so we just make that appeal to the churches today.
And to the members.
And the members
of the
yes.
churches. Yes. Please get involved.
Yes. And the way you get involved is just to volunteer.
Exactly.
Isn't it? Yeah. And so if anybody's interested in connecting to one of these groups, they can just let us know.
Yes.
And you can let Sheriff Woodruff know,
Absolutely.
or you can let me know here at the station, and we'll be glad to get you connected.
And you know, somebody might be watching and think, well, I'm just one person.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just one little person. What can I do? What voice do I have? But you know what? You're that one person that can reach that one person.
Right.
That could make a change in their life forever. And you know, I know you have people on your show all the time, and you highlight them and you highlight what they're doing. And somebody needs to come on the show, and maybe it'll be me, and interview you and highlight what you're doing. Because everywhere I go, I see you there.
Yes.
The National Day of Prayer. You recently started feeding
The
people.
Valley.
Yes. Taking food to people that are in need, and just another ministry that you're reaching out. The Homeless Coalition. I mean, you're out there as much as I am, giving back to the community, and you're a public servant.
Well, and I'm amazed with you because I'm retired and I'm out there, but you are the sheriff of Troup County, and you're out there too. So
Yeah.
I mean, that really is amazing. And thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It is let me tell you this. It is my pleasure, my honor to serve the people of Troup County. I go and speak at a lot of different places, and I always say this. In the Bible it says, to whom much is given, much is required.
Yes.
And I believe that, and I try to live my life like that. I don't live my life like I'm the sheriff and everybody bows down to me.
Yes.
I'm the servant.
Yes.
I'm out here to try to help people and make their lives better, and really make this not just say it, but really do what I can to make this place a better place for us to live. When I finish my term, and only God knows when that'll be, and He'll show me, He'll say, you're done now.
Yes.
I want to pass that baton to the next person that's going to be sheriff. But I want people to say, if we can say one thing about him, he left it better than he found it. He made some great improvements. And if I can say that,
Yes.
then I've done what I want to do.
Yes. And you know, I've told you this before, but in doing the jail ministry, sometimes your name will come up in the jail ministry. And one of the inmates will say, he's a good man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And also they'll say, one of them in particular said, you know, I think their car broke down, and he picked me up off the side of the road, and he and his wife, and got me to where I needed to go.
Right.
And so you are actually living that service role everywhere you go.
I try.
Yeah. So that's
I certainly
great.
try to do my best.
Yeah.
I could, you know, we always think about. I go to funerals of people that I know, and I tend to go to a lot. Can't make them all, and you know, a lot of times the family will say, "Boy, I wish I could have done more," and for my mom or my dad. And there's a lot of times I'll sit back and say, "Well, wish I could do more
Yes.
for Troup County,
Yeah.
and give more, and serve more, and be more." But I really want to be a servant and do that.
Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely.
And you know what? And I was going to ask you this morning. I was thinking about how great it would be if, like, the deputies were mentors in the school system, and you already brought that up. That's in your heart for them to do, and the resource people do that already in the school system.
Right.
And you know, I was just thinking about, like, with the LaGrange police. You know, if they could be mentors, and the firemen be mentors in the school system,
Right.
what great role models we would have. And I know the school system is looking for mentors. And so if there's somebody out there that's interested in being a mentor, you can very easily do that.
Sure.
And I know when Steve Cole was the principal of LaGrange High School, he told me, I would like to have 400 mentors, and I would like to place them with the 9th graders and let them follow them all the way through high school and support them through their high school years. Wouldn't that be awesome?
What a remarkable graduation rate.
Yes.
I think you would have when you've got somebody there that just cheers them on and says, "You can do it."
Yes.
Or maybe help them.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe help with a project, or just sometimes these young people just need somebody to believe in them.
Right.
Or somebody just to encourage them.
Yes.
And that's what the SROs do, school resource officers do. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I've got a school resource officer, Todd Johnson. He's at Callaway Middle.
Yes.
There was a young lady out there that had some health problems and ended up in an Atlanta hospital having surgery. And he called me at home one night and told me about her. And do you know he drove to Atlanta
Yes.
the next day after he got off work
Yes.
on his own just to check on her. And it meant so much to the family, but
Oh,
it's going
yes.
that extra mile to say, I really do care about you.
That's right.
It's not just that I'm out here doing a job, but you're one of the students that I see every day, and I really do care, and I really am concerned about you. And that there is what I'm talking about. And all of my school resource officers go that extra mile to make a difference in somebody's life.
Yes, and I have noticed that happens with the Sheriff's Department and with the LaGrange Police.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am just amazed at the caring that's in those two departments.
Mm-hmm.
And we are so fortunate to have men like you and men like Chief Detmar and the officers and the deputies that we
Thank
have
you.
in our county.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
work hard. You know, this day and time, it's not easy being in law enforcement. If you look at the news every day, I mean, there's an officer being shot or being attacked or something, and it's a very dangerous time to do what we do, but we do it because we love it.
Yes.
We do it because we have a heart for it.
Yes, men of integrity and
Yes.
women of integrity.
That's right, the women too.
Yes.
They play a tremendous role.
Okay, well, thank you for coming today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and thank you for watching You Make the Difference. And I just want to remind you that you really, truly do make a difference.